Warning, the following podcast contains coarse language and spoilers for the film and the title of the podcast.
Now playing movie reviews in 20 Qs.
And
that was exactly as terrible as I thought it was going to be. Congratulations, Billy. Well done. Hello, good people, and welcome to the podcast Movie Reviews in 20 Qs, the show where we review a movie by asking 20 weird and wonderful questions about it. I am your host, Sam, and I am joined this week by... Well, I had them on the Jurassic Park episode. We were chatting away a little bit afterwards, and we realised that Topher's favourite movie is Return of the Jedi, so I had to get them back. So it's Topher and Billy from We Watch the Thing. Well, one of you's from We Watch the Thing. The other one couldn't be fucked with that shit anymore. How you guys going? What's happening?
This is a bit of deja vu, really, because the last two episodes we actually did of our show proper together were Jurassic Park and Return of the Jedi back to back. So here we are. This is kind of fun.
I agree with Billy.
Thanks, Toph. And 2 times in a row now, I've had an episode lined up. They're all set to record. Okay, Macho and Kahu, let's do this. Cool, sweet, yep. Next Thursday, yep, cool, let's do this. Yep, that's cool. Hey, boys, what time are you coming over tonight? Oh, I can't make it either. Okay, what about tomorrow? Oh, I can't do that either. Fuck! So here we are. If you want something done dependably, go to Australia. That's what I'm telling you, New Zealand.
Said no one ever.
Said us Kiwis. That's about it. No, we don't say that. Why the fuck would we say that? Anywho, the movie Return of the Jedi, I'm not going to bother anyone with a plot because holy fuck, if you haven't seen this movie by now, you're never going to, so what's the point of trying to lure you into it? Scores for this film. 8.3 out of 10, and it was quite interesting because you can do a bit of a deep dive into IMDb statistics, and I found out that one IP address in Canberra has actually created 700,000 IMDb accounts and rated this movie 10 out of 10, which I found quite interesting. So, hey, 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, which kind of corresponds, and 58% on Metacritic. So, pretty high scores for what is Topher's favourite film of all time. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit more soon. If you haven't heard this podcast, what we do is we review a movie by asking 20 weird and wonderful questions about it. We start with 10 that can be applied to any film. We then move through 3 personal questions that we thought of while we were watching this film before we finish on a Patreon question. One, we start with Compliment Sandwich. Topher is the man of the hour as this is your favourite film. Lead us off, man.
I will, Sam. I'm very happy to. As you know, I've said it to you off the record. I've said it to you on the record. The hyperbole sandwich is stupid and has no business being anywhere near your podcast. It's like at the end of a game when an athlete says, we really gave 110% out there. No, you didn't. Because you can't do that.
And they always say that after losing, too. It's always like the losing to, we tried our best. We really gave 110%. You would have fucking
your best
won
is
if
an
you
idiot.
did that.
A hyperbole sandwich is wrong and irrational. Speaking of irrational, my undying love for my favourite film, which has not changed since age 6. So, I will be giving 3 good things about this,
yes!
my favourite film ever.
Yes!
The first thing, and I think this is an undisputed fact, this is the best ending to a Star Wars trilogy we have. Say what else? Say anything else you can about this movie. It is the best ending to a Star Wars trilogy.
I am going to disagree with you because have you seen those Ewoks movies? How there was 2 of those.
Caravan of Courage.
Another one. Well, they had the common sense to never
Battle for Endor.
Yeah, Battle for Endor. They had the common sense to not actually make a third one, and so they put us out of our miseries. So
I'm still waiting.
You're a brave man.
Next great thing, models in space.
Yes.
CGI does some amazing things and used well, it's fantastic. But you know what looks awesome? Models in space with actual goddamn light reflecting off their surfaces.
Yeah. Here's the question of the hour then. So which version of this film did you watch?
Didn't need to. I can just close my eyes and this movie comes on, Billy.
Because it is so... I think it's virtually impossible to find an original copy of this movie these days. I had to watch the crummy special edition, which is, quite frankly, not that special.
Yeah.
Where was that going, Billy?
Well, just because you were talking about models in space and they replaced so much of it with CG. I thought you were going to then segue back to that, but I guess not.
No. Next great and most unhinged great thing about this film,
Don't say it.
Ewoks rule.
Oh, I knew!
Ewoks rule,
This
people.
is coming.
I do not understand the people, and apparently there's many of them who don't like these delightful little murder bears. Ewoks are the bomb. Get on board, people. Stop hating.
I don't actually have much to say about what I do, actually. I'm just fucking going to do a bit of foreshadowing now. But, you sort of forget how just insane some of the kills that these bears managed to pull off. Like, they had a stormtrooper over the head with the speed of a sloth and the firepower of a wet fucking tissue, and yet the stormtrooper just fucking almost explodes deaths from a simple tap to the head. And you're just like,
You underestimate the murder bears of Endor at your peril, Sam.
Well, they're definitely Australian bears for sure.
true.
So I meant to give a score, aren't I?
You now need to give a score. And
Okay.
before you give a score, I did get you on here to do this because I wanted you to give a hyperbole sandwich because you keep protesting it and protesting and protesting it. Can't wait to hear your score. So strike me down with all your hatred and your journey to the dark side will be complete.
All
It
right,
has
so I need
be
to
over
cover.
10,000.
Thanks, know how it works. To cover off as low as your scores could possibly be and still have us kind of average out at what I consider to be an appropriate score, I'll give this film 29,990.
The man. That's what I want to hear. The man.
Wow.
Over to Billy.
All right, I am not giving a hyperbole sandwich for this film. This isn't Jurassic Park. We've been there. It's not Jurassic Park. First good thing is getting to see the conclusion of this saga. Like, you mentioned it's the best end to a trilogy. I don't actually think that's the case, but it is a fitting ending, I think, and getting to see, the end of this journey for Vader and everything. I just think that's pretty cool.
What are you, a Rise of Skywalker guy?
He is.
First bad thing, the Ewoks. They're not good, mate.
Shame.
Nom nom.
I wish that it had just been a planet of Wookiees as originally planned, because the Wookiees are amazing. I mean, it's kind of cool that we only ever really get to see Chewbacca, but I mean, man, this battle would have been so much better with Wookiees doing it. And my final good thing is the visuals of this film. Like, I don't think this is the best looking Star Wars film. It's probably the weakest of the three originals. But I mean, like you said, Toph, like when you see those models in space and some of the map painting work and stuff that was done, it's pretty damn impressive and a joy to watch.
Fair enough. Score out of 10,000 lightsabers.
I'm a 3,100, just to kind of balance us back out from Topher.
You're shit sandwiching this.
Ah, damn. Yeah, okay. I'm a 6,724.
What the fuck? These scores are all over the place. This is like you after you've had one beer.
This is a good movie. Like, it's a good movie. I don't think it's anywhere near the best Star Wars movie, but it's always fun to watch. You throw this on, you're going to have a good time.
That is true. My first good thing, I tried to go off topic because I was like, I'll go for stuff that's not going to get brought up, and then I was like, my first good thing was it wraps the trilogy up nicely, and I'm like, what the fuck? So there we go. We've talked about that. I mean,
Really ties the room together.
it does. Like, we've gone on this journey of Luke being this like farm boy who's staring off into the distance and wishing he was somewhere else, to him surrounded by all the people that mean everything to him, and he's like accomplished things, which I think is
Wishing
awesome.
his sister was someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would have thought that we would have the same first good thing?
I know. It's bizarre, right?
Because I was the same. I was trying to think of things that wouldn't get said.
Exactly. And it's funny, like, while we were talking about that, my other good thing was Williams' score, which we've already sort of mumbled about as well. I mean, getting Billy to give a rendition of that was a stupid fucking idea, and I don't know why anyone still listens to this podcast, but hello, thank you. If you'd like to become a patron, you can. But yeah, I mean, Williams' score, I mean, it's awesome. It's amazing. It's one of the great things about this franchise.
And it's not just wheeling out the hits. Like, the stuff that is specifically done for this film
Yeah.
absolutely rules.
There we go. I knew if I threw something out, I'd get a technical answer. Thank you, guys. Thank you for making me look smart. The final thing, it was a great thing. It's the duel at the end. it's a fucking duel at the end. It's Luke and the Emperor and Vader, and it's the best lightsaber duel out of the entire Star Wars like franchise, and I mean everything, including TV series, all that sort of stuff. For me, it's the best lightsaber duel. The stakes have never been more. They're even when Vader eventually turns and then just goes, "No, fuck the Emperor," and tosses him down a hole. I'm like, it's still a surprise. It's still a shock. The whole like, she's your sister, all that shit. I'm like, fucking take it or leave it. But when like the actual turn of Vader, I'm like, fuck, man, that is a twist. And then just the, like, how I got to get out, I got to rescue, and you already have my son. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. So hyperbole sandwich, Toph. There you go. I was sitting there and I was like, I've got at least 20 negative things, but fuck it, I'm going hyperbole as well. Oh, fuck Billy, he can eat shit. I'm going less than it's Toph's favorite movie. I can't go more than him, so I'm going to go 20,069.
Jeez, you guys are nuts.
Yes, Sam, I love you.
Well, it is fucking awesome. It was my second or third favorite film for years, or maybe fourth. It was in my top 5 for years. It was fucking top 10 maybe. It was up there, man. It was one of my favorite films, and I can't just fucking not drop hyperboles on some of my favorite films. It's just fucking bullshit. But here we are. Anywho,
I'm loving being in this space right now.
let's just dunk on Billy every
Because
time
of
he
you,
says
Sam.
something.
Not this other guy.
Oh, come on, mate.
Here's the thing, though, Topher. I always wanted it to, I never wanted this podcast to be 3 husky bearded dudes sitting around talking about Star Wars. And complaining about everything.
First time in history, I think it's happened.
First time in history. Absolutely. But at least 2 of us aren't going to be complaining. We've just got one idiot who clearly can't see fucking past his glasses as to how much of an amazing fucking film this is.
Yeah. Can't see the
complaining. This
Ewoks
is
for
a
the
good
trees
film.
or something.
Anyhow, let's move us over to our usual questions. Topher, why don't you lead us off?
I'm happy to do so. Question 2, gentlemen. What was the biggest dick move in the movie? Other than Billy scoring it under 7,000.
Well, I already brought mine up before. This is maybe a controversial one, probably not, but this is actually off-screen. The biggest dick move for me is the constant retconning by George Lucas. When I got up to the fucking dance scene in Jabba's palace, I was
It's not
like,
what you want.
"You dick moved me, Lucas. This is not a good part of this film." It really brings it down for me. I really wish that I could find that original copy again, because
Every time I'm watching it now and we get up to that sequence, every time I get to it, I forget that it's coming somehow.
Yeah.
same.
And every
same.
time it happens, it catches me by surprise, and I go, "Oh."
And the awful CG Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt was one of those incredible puppets. You brought it up before, Toph, about when light hits something physical and you actually see it bounce off it, and it looks like a real part of the scenery because it actually physically is. And Jabba looks so bad in this special edition. It just makes me sad.
I gotta say I'm there with you. When the band, that guy, I'm like, what the fuck is this? They've kind of tried to kidify it. I don't know, I don't know if that's the word, infantilize or whatever, whatever you want to call it. They've tried to make it more kid friendly by having this just random dude singing, but it's just this leads into my dick move. Is Jabba just fucking straight up sacrifices a dancing girl for no reason. You know what I mean? A dancing Twi'lek who's doing her shit is awesome all over the place, and then Jabba's just like, "Nah, fuck off, bitch. I'm not paying you," and then just drops into a rancor pit. I was like, holy shit. That was my biggest dick move. I mean, there's so many obvious ones. I wanted to go with that one.
Yeah.
My dick move is I'm along the lines of Billy, but it's pre retconning. It was an in the moment thing that George did, where he was like, "You know what? They should be brother and sister."
Yeah.
It's bad for them. It's bad for romantic fan fiction. Just bad job, George. Just have Leia choose Han. That's fine, because who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't make Empire weird for us, George. What have you done?
I know, right? Because they kissed. And now you watch it back and it's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Bad job, George.
The funny part is, he went back and edited these films so much, but he didn't think I could go back and delete that scene where they kiss, because it contributes nothing to the story.
You do get a good line from Han. His little "take it easy" as he walks out is some great Harrison Ford shit.
Yeah, exactly. That is true.
I'm not going to say it's worth it for the cringe, but
Absolutely. And you're right. The choice between Luke and Han, Like I know a thing or two about this, man. Like, ladies love going for the handsome, like, bad boy, man. Like, that's the reason why I never got laid, you know? Like, I was neither, so I fucking knew.
That's the reason, buddy.
I had a lot of friends who were handsome bad boys, and they used to slam a lot of girls that I was interested in. It was amazing. Anywho, next question. Question number 3. What is it, Billy?
All right, what quote from this film would be the worst to hear immediately after having sex?
We have in this film the line that I hear most. Help me take this mask off.
I like that.
But that's not what the question is. Right up there is that's not what you want.
Oh, my poor wife, that is something she hears after most times.
Oh, we know, bro. We know.
And then snoring. Yeah. I'm going to go with, well, short help is better than no help at all.
That's not a bad one.
That's not bad. Hey, talking about their Wookiee sounds, I also thought the jabber laughing was another one. It was like, yeah.
It's another thing my wife has heard.
Yes, we know, bro. My one was, I'm sure Luke wasn't on that thing when it blew.
That was an honourable mention. Yep, I like it. I like it.
My only other one was, soon I'll be dead, and you with me.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Rough. Yeah, that's not what you want.
I've gone for simplicity, but I almost can't imagine anything worse, right? Let's say you're at the club, you meet some broad. You go back and you...
This is the fucking 1950s.
Is it the 1920s?
You go back and you lay in some pipe, you know.
Broad!
You roll over and you just hear, it's a trap!
Okay, so that was good, but I still can't get over broad. So me and the Sheila, see, we went to the jamboree, see. She had one of them jazz cigarettes, the dirty broad. Oh, Jesus Christ. Question number 4. What was the most insane leap of logic in this film?
It's Han's escape. Just like the entire sequence. Like the whole thing from start to finish is just like, I don't know about this. I don't know if this would actually work. You're relying on a lot of steps here that you have really no control over.
Are you talking about Han's escape from commitment, where every time Leia's like, I love you, he's like, I know. And he's like, hey, look, when Luke comes back, I don't need to be here. You know, he's like, fucking slammed it, tagged it, I'm out. I'm fucking gone, princess.
Yeah.
I've gone with, I don't want to do this. But George, what's the logic that we were ever going to be okay with Vader now going, no, again? It's the same audio. It's the same audio.
Yeah. That is up there.
Yeah.
When was that ever going to work?
I also couldn't help but think on this viewing that just the insane leap of logic that, you know, Luke cuts off Vader's hand, and it's in seeing that he's like, oh my god, I've become him. It was a real why did you say that name moment for me.
You shut the fuck up, cunt. That was great symbolism, you fucking asshole.
I don't know, man. It was a little bit Martha.
I'm with Sam.
Go back to fucking Tommy boy.
Oh, don't you slam Tommy boy.
I don't have time for your reindeer games, Rudy.
How clever is that, right? The movie's called Reindeer Games and the character's name is Rudy. It's genius.
Fuck, let's move on before he gets too carried away. My one, I've got 2, and they're both kind of leaps. The first of which is that the Emperor gets thrown down this shaft and then explodes into a million pieces. But he's still alive. It's like, what the fuck? We literally see him explode and people get hit in the shockwave. But my other one is...
Well, Billy likes that more than this film.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. True. That's not the film I'm talking about.
Okay, wait, can we just... Okay, sidebar, people. Billy likes a prequel film more than Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, we can...
That's fucked up.
Spoiler alert, but we'll get to the question after the next one.
That is fucked up.
Fucking weird. Anyway. Yeah, but my other one is actually is an actual leap. It's when Luke and Leia swing like 100 feet between barges by a rope that isn't attached to anything that I can imagine. Like if it was attached to the top of that barge, they would have gone about 3 or 4 meters, if that. But instead they managed to do this massive swing. And I remember I've got 2 massive...
He probably used the Force.
That was the answer. At work, like last week, I was talking to the guys about it. I was like, watched Return of the Jedi last night. How the fuck did Luke swing between barges? And one of them was like, he force-held the rope up in the air. And I was like, okay. Okay, that's very similar to when Xena was on The Simpsons, and then she said, anytime anything happened that doesn't make any sense, a wizard did it. And I was like, yeah, there we go. A force wizard does it. Yeah, there we go.
And Luke kind of gets in a cheeky little grope because he doesn't know it's his sister. It's not good.
It's not good at all. Anywho, moves us over to our Patreon questions, first of which comes from our mate Dan Brennick of Netflix and Swill. Netflix and Swill is awesome. It's so awesome that he recommended a movie for me and Liz to review called 365 Days. We did that on our Patreon recently. And if you want to hear me have 3/4 of a mental breakdown, but Liz have 110% of an inevitable breakdown, there you go, Topher. There you go. Go over to our Patreon, listen to that. It's 40 minutes of people screaming about how shit a movie is. But yeah, it was fun. Anywho, what's this question, Toph?
This question would be, who was the true MVP of the film?
For me, it's Admiral Akbar. I think Akbar is sick. He's a cool dude, and I don't think they would have succeeded in this mission without him sitting in that chair. He's like the Picard of this mission. He's just a cool dude with a cool face and a cool voice. I love him.
And he got memed the most.
He did. I was going to drop him in my controversial opinion. To be honest, I don't think he's that good. Like, he's taking orders from Lando the whole time. He's like, engage them at like fucking point blank range, and he's like, well, we won't last long against some Star Destroyers. It'll last longer against Death Star.
Yeah, well, see, I thought about answering Lando for this question, but then I was like, you know what, I feel like that's a bit of a cheat, because I don't know if you would say he's not a main character. It's a tricky question for me whether he's main or not.
Yeah, there's a lot of mains. I feel like you sort of got to rule out Han, Luke, and Leia. I feel like those are the main three.
Exactly.
And probably Vader as well.
See,
I mean, because Vader...
Well, and Chewie.
Yeah, Chewie.
Chewie, C-3PO,
Everyone
R2-D2,
forgets.
they're
Everyone
all
forgets.
mains.
Just like at the end of A New Hope, everyone forgets Chewie. Where's Chewie's medal?
Where's Chewie's medal? Where's Leia hugging Chewie
justice
after
for
Han
Chewie.
dies? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. My one, I mean, you just mentioned one of their names, C-3PO. Like, C-3PO.
What? No.
Yeah,
No
okay.
way.
Okay, hear me out, right? He stops them from getting eaten by the Ewoks. Okay? They think he's a god. He has no reason, by the way, guys, no reason to be on that fucking planet whatsoever, right? Him and R2-D2. R2-D2, you could argue, hack into systems, all that sort of shit. But C-3PO has been this moaning bitch, you could say the Billy of the group, for the entire fucking trilogy.
I would definitely
Both
argue,
equally good at getting around a forest.
Exactly.
I would definitely argue that they're both mains, for sure. C-3PO and R2-D2 are main characters.
Well, some people do argue that A New Hope is their story, because they're there from start to finish. Like, they witness everything sort of thing. But
The whole thing's just a retelling by R2.
yeah, exactly.
Goes one theory, and that's why R2 continuously saves the day.
Yeah, exactly. So
He's the one doing the real retconning.
So I ruled out R2-D2. And the other reason why I had C-3PO is he sacks up. Like, when the group gets captured, he sacks up and he was like, over here, I believe you're looking for us. And it's like the most total, like, anomaly for C-3PO. He's been this, like, scaredy cat the entire time. And then the one time he's needed, he just fucking sacks up and just, like, arms in the air, hey, I'm going to take on an entire fucking stormtrooper battalion by myself. I was like, fuck, go C-3PO. You're the man. Still whinges the entire time. Still can't fucking stand the asshole, but hey.
That's nice. It's the first good thing that's been said about the guy ever.
And probably the last.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go with Wicket.
I knew you were.
What a little champion.
Yeah.
None of this is possible without him.
It's true. It is true.
Absolutely. Who needs Wookiees when you've got the murder bears of Endor?
Can we just talk about them for a second? When did they find this is like some Kevin McAllister Home Alone shit, right? Where he has an hour to set up his house and he sets up the most elaborate traps ever. These Ewoks do the same thing, right? I was talking about this at work, and one of the guys said, those are the only Ewoks that the Ewoks want you to see. There's millions of them out there. And I was like, could be right. You could be right. That are setting up, like massive, log traps that swing from trees and get cut down and roll down hills and take out ATSTs. I was like, okay, that serious amount of prep.
They're industrious as fuck.
They are magical. Next question, also a Patreon question, comes courtesy of our amazing friend Julio of the Contrarians podcast. But what's his question there, Billy?
Well, Julio wants to know, what is our most controversial opinion about this film?
This is an opinion that I've had for quite some time, and then I went on the internet and I discovered that there's quite a lot of us out there which are Boba Fett truthers, I guess is the best way to describe us, where we think Boba Fett sucks. He is nowhere near as fucking badass as people make him out. And the TV series hasn't really done much favours, and I hate saying this given that it's played by a New Zealander, and how much representation do we have in Hollywood? Fucking four-fifths of fuck all. But the fact is, like, in this film, right, he sees Luke pull out a lightsaber, kill all the dudes on his barge, and then basically stand there. And his first impulse is, I'm going to fucking jetpack my way over there and engage him in hand-to-hand combat. You've got a rocket.
Yeah,
rocket the other barge, dude. You've got fucking distance weapons. What the fuck are you doing?
I've never understood the Boba Fett thing. He's just not that cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot being said about how he accidentally dies, but look, fucking 99% of the shit in these films is coincidence. So, you know, like, I can live with that, but the fact he tries to engage Luke in hand-to-hand combat, and then the other thing too, he's got a flamethrower, but he decides, hey, I know, I'll wrap him up. It's like, what the fuck?
It's already hot.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What I have written down here is Boba Fett going out in underwhelming fashion is not an issue because Boba Fett is an underwhelming character.
Oh, there we go. Same boat.
Well, this is where you guys can rag away, because this is where I have written down, I'm sorry, but I don't think this movie is as good as Revenge of the Sith.
There it is. There it is.
I mean, okay, there's some really, really,
It doesn't have
bad
enough
stuff
of Hayden Christensen telling
about
Padme she's
sand.
beautiful.
Yeah.
There's some really, really, really bad
That's
stuff
end of Attack
about
of the
Revenge
Clones,
of the
Billy.
Sith.
Come on, man.
Yeah, there's some
Get
really
your shit
bad
together.
stuff about Revenge of the Sith, but there's some really cool stuff too. Like, I mean, that fight.
There is.
in the
I'm a
volcano-
bit of an apologist for that film, but
Yeah.
there's still an awful lot of bad.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you're being coloured about how much bad there is in this film too. Like I
How dare
said, this
you.
is a fun film, and I will always have fun watching it. But I would not say this is a good film. This is easily the worst.
Yes,
of the
you
original
would.
trilogy.
You gave it almost 7,000.
Yeah,
out
you
of
gave it a
10.
very good
Okay.
score.
10,000.
Yeah, sorry, good film, not a great film.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think we'd also like to point out that, in support of Billy here, that this film has Mon Mothma in it, which is a famously tall woman. And there's no tall woman in Revenge of the
We
Sith.
see now where it's come unstuck. I tell you who will
Here
not
we
be
bloody
watching
go.
the Andor series.
Yeah.
That would be one Billy.
Billy.
Well, you guys have just ruined one of my future answers, because what was something you noticed that you didn't think other people would have noticed? Yeah, Mon Mothma's tall, man.
There we go.
But you noticed it, Sam.
Your discrimination of tall women continues, Billy.
I wrote that down just for you, buddy. I know how much you like to rag on me for something that's quite frankly not true. My wife is quite tall for a woman. I have nothing wrong with tall women. But somehow you've got this in your head, and
Somehow.
There you go.
Yeah, somehow. It, like, not countless episodes if we watched the thing, we just rabbed on Elizabeth Debicki. As soon as she showed up, I was like, look how tall that woman is. She sucks.
one episode where I spoke about how I didn't like Elizabeth Debicki in a film, she looked out of place, man. She was too tall.
There it is. There it is.
Did Liam Neeson also look out of place in that film?
I don't remember Liam Neeson being in that film. I was too distracted by Elizabeth Debicki.
Because they both share scenes with the same character, and yet you only found the one who's not as tall as Liam Neeson to be distractingly tall. That's what's interesting.
Let's move on, shall
Yeah.
we?
Draw your own conclusion, listeners. Question number 7. What's something that you noticed that you don't think other people might have merely noticed? We've already had Billy's answer. What about you, To?
Mine is that in the throne room scene, still one of my favourite scenes of any movie ever. I love it so much. Vader is standing in what would traditionally be the hero spot right from the beginning. Traditionally, like if you want to go real by the numbers, like, you know, you watch an old Western or whatever, typically your hero is looking screen left to screen right, the villain, vice versa. It's like, you know, just imprinted brain thing for Western people. That's the way we read or something. That's the way it's done. But in that scene, in either a good bit of foreshadowing or a bit of sheer fluke, Vader is in the hero spot right from the beginning.
That's impressive. Yeah, that's something I haven't thought of before. That's good. To take something very technical and awesome and just turn it into something crass, did you guys notice that Harrison Ford grabs Leia's tit, or grabs Carrie Fisher's tit after she gets shot?
No, I did not notice that.
There's that bit where they're outside the base, and like a stormtrooper pops up, shoots Leia, and she goes ah, and goes down.
And he props her up in the corner.
Harrison grabs her on the shoulder, then grabs her straight on the boob, lifts her up.
Well, those two were going at it non-stop, weren't they? He probably forgot the cameras.
They were, and he was furious at it because he was married at the time, and it wasn't supposed to be public information. And then she talked about it in her biography. But the other one, a lovely bit of trivia, is that when two of the Ewoks are talking to each other, Topher will know what I'm talking about. One of them goes, "That guy is smart," and the other one replies, "More than I am tall." But because it's done in cutesy language, it's like, "That guy's smart, more than I'm tall." And it's like, you don't pick it up because you think it's Ewok language, but when you listen out for it, you're like, oh, there it is. Okay, so it's "that guy's wise, more than I'm short," which is, here you go.
That guy's wise.
Look, recording's tough, man. When you're recording with people in Australia, you're recording 11 o'clock at night. I can't remember all of it. Fuck. I didn't just fucking technical difficulty sound myself, did I? What the fuck? Anywho, on to our next Patreon question. Comes courtesy of our mate Dave Baker, who also has his own Patreon as well at patreon.com/your-favourite. Posts a ton of awesome content, and there is a link down in the show notes. Go check him out. What's this question, Toph?
This is, what two characters would you want with you at a house party?
I tried really hard to come up with answers that I thought were out of the box and stuff, but for this one I couldn't. It's Han and Chewie. I know that that's the most obvious thing in the world, but they're just the fucking best, and they'd be so cool to hang out with.
Wookiees are known to rip the arms out of people that piss them off, Billy.
Yeah, that's true.
Only if you beat them at chess, and that's not going to happen at a house party.
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen with me. I'm going to beat someone at chess. Can't beat my 7-year-old at chess, mate.
Good point. The first one for me, R2-D2. We see him be a bartender in this, and he's pretty proficient at it, and it's pretty awesome, man. He's a droid, but fuck, I don't know anyone else that has a fully automated AI system like him. And the other one, I've written down Lando, but then I was like, you'd probably get pestered for weeks afterwards from your female friends of either oh, hey, who was your friend? Or, oh, hey, who the fuck was your friend? You know what I mean? He would be next level pesty. And I'm like, I don't really want that there. So then I was like, oh, I'd just invite Mon Mothma so Billy wouldn't show up.
I'm just going to go, guys. I don't really feel welcome.
There we go. The mere mention of a tall woman has scared Billy away.
All right. I'm done here.
Billy, I've half joined you in the low-hanging fruit, and so one of mine is Han, but it's not just because Han rules, although of course Han rules. Han runs spice, aka drugs. Let's get this party going.
True.
My other one is my favorite ever Imperial, Admiral Piet. Bad employer, maybe not the worst guy ever. I think he would, away from his workplace, I think he'd dish really good gossip about everyone else in the Empire. You could ask him about that time that he saw half of Vader's head.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, it's gross. It's gross.
It looks like a Sean scrotum.
It's breathtaking.
With a very blunt razor. Anyway, question number 9, Patreon question as well, comes courtesy of our mate Nick Haskins of Nikolis Kitchen, awesome cooking podcast. It's more than that, it's all about embracing life, and it's just awesome. What's this question, Billy?
All right, Nick wants to know, what type of meal is this movie?
This one is very easy for me. It's like when you go to your favourite restaurant and you're like, okay, I want my favourite meal, and they come out and they go, okay, I want this, and they go, I'm sorry, we just sold out of that, and you're like, okay, I'll have this then. They're like, no, we're sold out of that as well, and you're like, Okay, well, this is my third favorite meal from this place. It's not my top two, but I guess I'll have it. You know, I love Mexican, and I was really looking forward to a burrito and then chimichangas, but you only got quesadillas. Okay, fuck it, I'll do quesadilla, I guess. You know, fine, sure.
For me, this is Hawaiian pizza. Loved it. Like, loved it when I was little. Loved it. And it was only, like, much later on in life that I realized that other people have serious reservations about it. And they might be right, but I don't necessarily care.
I hear you.
No, I'm with you, mate.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with pineapple on a pizza.
I mean, there is, but I don't care.
It's much better than pineapple in spaghetti.
These are just like, this is your Australasian faves right here. Like Hawaiian pizzas, man, like they were like all the rage. Like as a Kiwi kid growing up, like I like honestly, I would have been about 14 or 15 before I realized that you could put other shit on a pizza. You know what I mean? Like a pizza to me was like, it was like ham and pineapple. That was it.
Yeah, my answer is so close to both you guys. I'm like between you. I reckon this is a thin crust pepperoni pizza, which when I was a kid, I thought was like one of the best pizzas you could get. Not the best, but one of. And now that I'm an adult and I've had so many other pizzas, I'm like, yeah, you need some more toppings on there, really.
Anyway, that moves us over to question number 10. First time in this podcast, what character from this film has definitely been caught engaging in some self-love?
Can I introduce you to Luke Skywalker, a space virgin? Like, let's not overthink this one.
He is definitely sad and lonely. I mean, it's R2-D2 though, right? Like that little guy is shoving himself in every slot
Servicing
he can
himself.
find.
I don't know that it's self-love. He'll just R2 will stick it in anything he sees.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Oh, there's a slot. Yep, I can fit in that.
Yeah.
Imagine the viruses.
Yeah. He'll have to get checked monthly.
He doesn't give a fuck
Yeah.
who sees him. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'd be the guy in like the pool filter.
He probably would. I'm going to introduce most of the non-nerdy listeners to a character whose name is Salacious Crumb. And if you're wondering who the fuck Salacious Crumb is, it's the little laughing guy that sits on top of Jabba. That guy...
Horrid little prick.
Yeah, a guy that you've never wanted more to die in your entire life in terms of snivelly, weaselly little sidekicks. He doesn't give a shit. He's just sitting there, and then every time somebody busts him, he's just...
Yeah.
He's doing it in people's faces when there's massive sleepovers at Jabba's palace, which was going to be one of my questions. Would you guys sleep over in that palace? And I think we would all say, fuck no. But he is doing it. He is a pest. We can fucking tell he's a pest.
He'd be like multiple MiGs next to Hannibal.
I was just thinking that.
Absolutely. Anywho, takes us over to our personal questions. What do you got, Billy?
All right, my first personal question. Which side character would you guys want to follow in a spin-off from this film?
It's funny you raise this, given that like pretty much all of these characters have now had a spin-off film or a
Not
series.
Boba Fett.
That was going to be one of my answers. My only other answer is Admiral Akbar. Akbar rules. Like as much as said,
That would be cool.
He's a bit of an idiot. He's managed to make himself like, you know, Admiral of the Rebel Fleet. I want to see the rise and fall of Admiral Akbar.
Yeah, young Akbar. How did we get here?
Absolutely.
My guy has always been Wedge Antilles.
Yes!
I knew you were going to say Wedge. You're such a Wedge fan.
Oh, I've always been here for Wedge.
Yeah.
I read the shit out of the X-Wing Rogue Squadron books. I was like, I remember the day the first one of them came out, I was like, hang on. Wait, I'm sorry. We're doing books about Wedge now. This will be the happiest I ever am.
Yes.
It's all downhill from here. So sign me up for more Wedge.
As a young 14-year-old boy traveling the world, I remember leaving New Zealand and getting to Los Angeles, or it might have been the UK, and walking into a bookstore and being like, holy shit, there's books? This is amazing. We don't have bookstores in New Zealand. This is a surprise. And then seeing all the extended universe of like Star Wars and being like, holy fucking shit, Rogue Squadron was one of them. I read them as well. I love that expanded universe.
My partner is just looking at me, shaking her head. She can't believe that.
Isn't that on permanent rotation, though?
This is her choices.
Oh, good shit.
All right, my second question for you guys. Who had the greater return, the Jedi or the King?
Just move over to question number 3, Billy. Come on, man.
I want to hear from you guys. Like they're both like I know that Return of the King is in both your guys' top 10 or top 5 as well.
No.
I want to hear you.
No.
I want to hear you
Nah.
say which is better.
Nah.
Really?
Nah.
I felt like Fellowship, yes, not Return of the King.
Yeah, Fellowship is definitely top 50. Probably top 4. Oh, yeah, probably top 50. I'm not as big a fan of the Lord of the Rings films as I should be.
I, despite my ongoing love for this film, I think I've probably got to go the King here because we know that the Return of the Jedi was short-lived and pretty messy,
True.
Well, yeah. I mean,
as it turned out.
the Jedi who is returning in this film is Vader. Return of the King. That's long
I think you
lasting.
can make a pretty good argument that it's Luke.
Yeah, or Yoda.
No. I'm pretty sure that the titular Jedi, if you will, it's Anakin. It's the return of Anakin.
No,
Well-
it's not. It's the Jedi Order in like a plural sense.
I was going to say,
You think it's pluralist Jedi?
Yeah. Like the Jedi have been
disagree.
wiped out and now they have somebody who...
the Jedi in general are like, we're back, baby.
Yeah. Are you Googling mouse, mice, Jedi?
Billy's just going to surf the internet until he finds someone
no,
who agrees with him, which is a really hard thing to do.
No, it's the very first
Cracksmoker69 says that I'm fucking...
I literally just typed in who is the Return of the Jedi. The very first thing that comes up, Return of the Jedi refers to the return of Anakin Skywalker as previously stated above.
Well,
Like,
if the
that's-
internet says so,
It's literally like the very first thing that pops up.
who cares, Billy?
Hey, Billy, you should go to the billysucks.com and see this website that me and Topher make that proves that you suck. This is amazing.
Yeah, I'd believe it. All right, question number 3. Which is the weirdest looking alien in this film that you would still smash?
Leia in that weird helmet. I think that, no, that's... Come on.
That's not the question I have.
Yeah, it's probably one of the Twi'lek dancers. You know, the one that gets tossed to the Rancor. Ahsoka Tano. She's hot. Twi'lek, something like that.
Twi'lek, yeah. Well, I've always said Twi'lek, but I don't know if I'm right about that. Yeah, like that or, I don't know, someone Scottish.
Go with Greedo's sister. You know you want to.
Who shot first?
What about you, Billy? I know you're trying to drop us in on this.
No, I was just curious. I reckon that your answer is actually pretty smart, Sam. I reckon it's Leia. Like, she's not from Earth. She's an alien. She's pretty fine looking.
Unfortunately, she is from Anakin, which is kind of weird, but...
I think the Return of the Jedi means Leia.
Yeah, same.
Do you? Really?
No.
I've always thought that it referred to Anakin. I can't believe that that's not what it is. Now I feel dumb. That's just what I've always thought.
I've always
But,
thought
like,
about it's like the Jedi Order.
You're not
Yeah.
wrong. Like, George probably doesn't care. He's probably
That's
like,
true.
cool, take from it what you want. You're all right. Stop setting things on fire and being abusive online.
Yes.
And we were all like, no, George.
I'll crush you like a worm.
Okay, actually, you know what? This should have been one of my questions. Which fan base is more toxic? Star Wars or Zack Snyder?
Star
They're both
Wars.
petulant children.
No, this is like the discussion about extroversion versus introversion, because Star Wars fans are more toxic against each other than fucking like Snyder fans are toxic outwardly. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know. Star Wars fans are pretty toxic if you put an Asian person in a Star Wars film.
Yeah, no, but yeah.
Or a woman.
Yeah, or woman.
Yeah.
Or have Kathleen Kennedy run Lucasfilm. Yeah. They're pretty bad. But I feel like Star Wars fans argue with each other more often than... Oh, no, you're right. Snyder fans just hate everything, man. They just want to see the world burn.
They also have no taste. So.
Hence why Army of the Dead won an Oscar.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. It got recognised at the Oscars.
Yeah, sorry.
It didn't win an Oscar.
So
Recognised.
That was just... I mean, let's hope that's as bad as it gets for humanity.
Absolutely. Hey, talking about stupid things, let's move on to Luke's plan to rescue Han from Jabba. What do you guys reckon was the stupidest part of his plan?
His lack of an oversized coat.
It's a good one.
I mean, my answer is just the plan. Like, from start to finish, it's not good. I couldn't pinpoint down to a single, like, stupidest part, because the whole thing's just dumb.
Can I let me stick up for my guy Luke here for a moment. Is it not possible that Luke knows that the plan is never going to work? There's no way Jabba's going to go for this, so he's just going to have to turn up and murder everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly, yeah. Possibly, but then why not just turn up and murder everyone? Why start with the
Because it's cool. It's
bad
cooler
plan?
to be like,
That's true. There's literally no other explanation as to why. I mean, like, sure, you could argue that the droid wouldn't have let him in and it's like a massive bulkhead, but we've seen what lightsabers could do. He could cut through that door. And then you're like, well, would they have defrosted Han and killed him before he got there? Maybe. You know, like his plan is to smuggle all these guys in.
great shot though when he walks in backlit and it's like, oh shit, is it Vader?
Yeah, that's true. The part of it that I thought was stupid, which wasn't surely not Luke's idea, was Lando watching people walk away, then inexplicably pulling down his mask.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I need to reveal to the audience that I'm Lando. And it's like, you could have just had him walked back to his quarters and take his mask off. Like, we don't need this fucking, like, stupidity for no reason, you know? Still a hyperbole sandwich. Anyway, next question. C-3PO is fluent in over 6 billion forms of communication, as he refers to it. How many of those do you reckon involve some really weird shit?
I mean, more than a couple.
I'm going with 0. C-3PO is the most beige character in the galaxy and is just incapable of anything that isn't dull as dishwater.
Man,
No, I reckon.
nah.
I reckon they're always the ones who are they're the ones who are full on.
No, not 3PO. Not 3PO.
Definitely 3PO.
He's-
Definitely 3PO.
Yeah.
I've worked with some...
He speaks some love languages fluently.
Yeah, exactly. He does interpretive fucking sex dances and shit
Yeah.
to get...
The guy can barely move.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it even fucking freakier. It's like watching your
Yeah.
fucking granddad dancing at a party. You're like, you shouldn't be doing that. That's C-3PO.
Yeah, he's so beige because he's trying to hold that all in at all times because his head is constantly like, do something fucked, do something fucked. He's like, no, I mustn't.
6 billion forms of communication, even if like 1 million of them are some fucked up shit, that's still a lot of fucking weird things that are going through your mind. That, you know, if you see Luke and Leia making eyes at each other and he immediately thinks, well, the fucking weird people of this planet would start doing this right now, and he starts fucking pelvic thrusting or something in the fucking background. That guy is up to... I mean, I've worked with some really uptight people. You get 2 beers down them, and it's the same with C-3PO. Get 2 fucking oil cans down him, he'll start doing some really weird shit. I can fucking tell it. I can tell. That guy's plugged into quite a few sockets that he shouldn't have. I'm telling you now. R2-D2 is the outward one. He's the inward one. He's the introverted version. Anywho, my final question: do you guys reckon any of the other Force ghosts were like, "What the fuck, bro?" when Anakin showed up?
It's another one of those terrible changes by Lucas to put Hayden Christensen in there.
Yes,
I just don't get it. Like, even his reasoning is that because Vader was a Sith, and so, you know, a Sith can't be a Force ghost, so the Force ghost shows like him when he was last a Jedi and stuff, but it doesn't make sense to me at all.
No, it's quite silly. But in terms of, are they going to be upset because this guy who murdered a bunch of younglings and so on and so forth? Probably the best thing Anakin did, but anyway. Like, we can go through them. There aren't that many. And if there are more out there, then send your complaints to Sam. So, Qui-Gon Jinn, not upset because he was the original Anakin guy. Obi-Wan, you were my brother, Kenobi. He's not upset. He's just happy to have his guy back.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Yoda, as we know from The Last Jedi, big on learning from mistakes. I think he forgives Anakin. So I think everyone's okay with it, actually.
you're missing one person: Mace motherfucking Windu.
Is Mace a Force ghost?
Or is he dead? There's the fucking big conspiracy
Well.
theory. Is he still alive or is he dead?
I mean, personally, I think he's pretty dead.
Yeah.
That was a big fall.
Yeah, but so was Palpatine's.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mace is somewhere getting, like, he's, like, attached to something and we don't know if he's kind of being grown off it or
Yeah, that's exactly right.
something of that
Yeah,
order.
they're cloning him. They're like coming up with some sort of different idea of what to do with him.
He's got a granddaughter, surprise.
Exactly. Who's chosen her own identity as a Skywalker. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But it's one of these things. It's like if you showed up to heaven and you're wandering around, you're like, oh yep, and then you like looked over and you saw Hitler there, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you're like pull God aside, and you're like, dude, why is Hitler here? And he's like, hey, you know, like I know he did a ton of bad things, but he also killed Hitler. You'd be like, well, yeah, I suppose, but this is kind of the same with Darth. It's just like, yeah, he was pretty bad. Fucking genocided thousands, millions of people, but, you know, he killed the Emperor, so, you know.
See, but I mean, is it ever really explained what virtues one needs to have to become a Force ghost? Is being a Jedi just enough?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get too far into it. I'm sure I've read about it somewhere at some point.
I mean, there are plenty of religious people out there that, quite frankly, shouldn't be going to heaven. But, you know, according to their thoughts, they are, just because they're religious. Is it the same thing with Jedis?
Sure, why not? Anywho, that's me done. Let's move over to Topher.
Sure, okay. First of my questions is this. How would Obi-Wan Kenobi series era Obi-Wan have rescued Leia from Jabba's palace?
I mean, firstly, reading that question was like trying to play Minesweeper. I was like, hang on a second. But I think he would do it in Topher's favourite fashion, which is with a child actor by his side.
Why? Why would he do such a thing?
I've just gone with, like everything in Star Wars, by coincidence, probably.
Yeah. And a big coat.
And a massive coat. There we go.
Massive coat.
Massive coat.
All right, question 2. What piece of retconning would you make to this film?
I mean, we've already talked about it. Wookiees in for Ewoks. You know, as much as you love Ewoks,
No, it makes a lot more
sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing that 2 of the most successful films ever didn't have enough budget going into the third one to afford the fabric to make Wookiee-sized characters. And that's literally the only reason why I found out that Ewoks were in this instead of Wookiees, which is just, it's insane, but yeah. I mean, it's the obvious one, and it's probably the right one, but yeah.
Mine is actually like a re-retcon, because I would just undo the dance scene at Jabba's palace. That shit is cut. Just cut it out.
Many people would thank you.
Myself included, yeah. There's part of me that was like, oh, that's Coruscant, that's pretty cool. We've never actually seen it in the original trilogy, and then quickly was like, oh, who gives a fuck? You know?
And give us back the old Ewok
Give
song.
us back the old Ewok. Like,
See, that's one thing. No one is against that song. Even the most diehard Ewok hater, no one hates that song.
No one hates that song. Yet we all hate that the galaxy, seconds after someone's died, immediately busts out into the biggest fucking slam party that you've ever seen in your life. Like fucking disco raving with the most stupidest lame song that you can't dance to. And I've tried.
All right, next to my questions is Obi-Wan, as the father figure in this film, does some retconning of his own. What, from a certain point of view thing, will you likely lie to your kids about until you're called out on it?
I mean, I do this all the fucking time. My favourite one is telling them that chips are a sometimes food. And that sometimes is every night after they're in bed.
Yes.
They'll discover it one day. It's happened before. They come out, they see me eating like a block of chocolate on the couch by myself, and they're like, hang on a second. You said that chocolate is bad for you. I'm like, no. Chocolate is bad for you. Chocolate is very good for me.
So what I said was true.
Yes, exactly.
From a certain point of view.
Exactly. My one is, I subscribe to the thing of, like, if you're not using it, then it's technically considered to be broken because it's not serving its function. So, like, when Fern is just like, I want to have a bath, I was like, you can't. The bath's broken. Maybe it'll be fixed tomorrow. Or, you know, like, I want to use my bike. I'm like, sorry, your bike's broken. We can't go for a ride right now. Your bike's broken.
Yeah.
Or, Dad, I want to play with you even though you've been out on the piss last night. I'm like, look, your dad's broken, so you can't do anything at the moment.
And that one's not even a lie.
It's not a lie. He went out with
It's like oh, sorry, kid. The playground is closed today.
Exactly. Playground's closed. Your dad went out, had a few beers, watched the All Blacks win a match. He's a bit broken. So, yeah. Every single time. Anywho, moves us down to our final question, which is a Patreon question. It comes courtesy of our mate Nerdrovert, and he wants to know, what was the perfect time for a bathroom break?
Never. But But I mean, if you like Billy and have a tremendously weak bladder, I maybe Leia waking Han up. It's a bit how you going.
Yeah. Yep.
Still great though.
It is still awesome.
I mean, as much as I said I don't love this film, I mean, it's still a lot of fun. I'm with you, Topher. I actually don't think that there's many places where you can happily just leave the... I mean, luckily we're at the point now where we've seen it so many times that just about at any point I could go and relieve my bladder and I'll be okay when I walk back in the room. But yeah, it's a pretty tight film still, except I've said it a million times, the dance scene. I hate to bring it up again. That's the only point.
Yeah, I mean, I ducked out this time around the Ewok scene, like after they've originally been picked up and it looks like they're going to be eaten. I think that was when I was like...
Oh, yeah.
no,
Anytime the Ewoks are on screen, that's a decent time to go.
Terrible
I
take.
wouldn't go that far, but...
Little guy hugs Han's leg.
Yeah.
How good is it?
This is something. Anywho, that takes us down to the end. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and thank you to these two guys for coming over here. And thank you for converting to the dark side, Toph, and giving us a hyperbole sandwich. I knew I'd get one out of you one day.
It won't happen again.
Surely when we do The Rise of Skywalker, you're going to give that a hyperbole sandwich.
Jesus Christ, that film is...
Topher, are you familiar with the hyperbole shit sandwich, which is when you give you three bad things? It's like a negative score. We might be able to get you on for that.
A couple of the throwbacks that Billy made me do on our show, yeah, maybe.
Oh, mate, we had a great time.
If you want to roll out Sphere again,
I reckon we do Tommy Boy. I reckon we see what happens.
Mate, I'll come back for Tommy Boy.
Let's do it. 3 hyperbole sandwiches, 2 of which are not fucking positive. I would love to see that.
Here's the thing: I would not. Just in no way would I be willing to watch the film again. In prep for the episode.
Same. Yeah.
So actually it would just be Billy here for an hour talking about how great it is.
Me rolling over whatever I'd seen in the fucking plot on Wikipedia in the trailer or whatever. I think I'd probably go as far as to watch the trailer for you, Billy.
Well, I appreciate that, mate.
Do it just for you, bro. Anywho, Billy, why don't you tell us all about We Watch the Thing in case people aren't already listening to you guys?
No worries. Well, this is my third time here in 4 weeks or something. We Watch a Thing does exactly what it says on the tin. We watch a thing and we chat about it. I used to do it with Toph. He left me, so now I have special guests each week, such as yourself, Sam, who'll be with me next week talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, which I'm pretty excited for, actually. And actually, the week after that, Toph will be back, because it's our 250th episode, so we decided to throw on Affleck's Daredevil.
Oh!
Why? Let me ask you this, Sam. Let me ask you this. Whose idea do you think that was?
Topher's.
That was Topher's.
Because he wanted to shit all over it, yeah.
So he can talk all he wants about the throwbacks I brought up. He made me watch Daredevil. I
remember nothing of that night.
I still haven't tackled editing it yet because that is
that thing
drunkest
is a mess.
we've ever been.
It is a mess.
I'm not looking forward to cutting it. But
did you guys do the
week.
theatrical cut or did you do the re-release, the director's?
It was the director's cut.
Fucking longer one.
I feel like that is maybe marginally more tolerable than the original one.
Well, that's a horrifying thought.
The original must have been pretty bad.
Yeah, the original one was terrible. Look, I'm a massive Daredevil fan. He's favorite fucking superhero. And the original one is legitimately grating to the point of you want to kill yourself. Whereas the director's cut, you're it's not good. It's not mediocre.
Yeah.
It's not fucking, yeah.
So that's We Watch the Thing. You can find it anywhere you find podcasts by searching for We Watch the Thing, or head to wewatchthething.com or all the socials at We Watch the Thing.
Perfect.
If you want to yell at me about how I'm wrong about Ewoks and Revenge of the Sith,
and tall
you
ladies.
can do that.
And also Christopher Nolan films. You hate Tenet, right? Is it you hate Christopher Nolan?
Yeah,
hate Zack Snyder?
yeah.
Is there any other fan bases you want to piss off? Say some shit about the MCU.
Yeah,
Go on. Say about how Love and Thunder's going to suck.
No, I'm cautiously optimistic about Love and Thunder, but I was also about Doctor Strange 2, and that was abysmal. So I guess we'll see what happens next week.
Yes, let's not bring that up. Anyway, if you want to get a hold of us, you can find us on Twitter at Movie Reviews In, or you can find us on Facebook at Movie Reviews in 20 Views. Same on Instagram, or send us an email at mritqs@gmail.com. Cool. Anywho, that's thanks from me.
Thanks from me.